How does one go from this to this, or from this to this? Real people, real transformations. Amazing life-changing results are achieved every day at O Skin Med Spa. Let Miss O show you the way. Your very own before and after experience awaits. Call now for a free consultation. Visit oskinmedspa.com for more details.
What's up, guys? This is Alfred from Los Angeles, and I want to invite you to my special live performance on Nick Diaz Presents May 28th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to be bringing you those pop R&B vibes. You don't want to miss it. Thank you so much. Peace and love.
Good evening, everybody. It's Thursday night, and it's time for another Who is CALI? And tonight we have our Socal Film servicemen and women on the show. And tonight's show is in honor of Memorial Day. So it's coming up, right, this weekend. And before anything, I would like to thank our sponsor for this evening. And she's no other than Olivia Keto Co., who's the owner of O Skin Care and Med Spa. And I also wanted to thank Formula M Creatives Inc. And also we have raffles from the Hi-Fi Hedgehog online gift shop later on towards the end of the show. So stick around while we learn about our Socal Philam Pinoy servicemen and women. We've had them on the show before. We have like some repeat guests tonight who were on our veterans special last year in November. But yeah, so let's bring them in one by one. So our first guest is no other than Sherwin Alfred Buquid, and he's gained quite a bit of following with his social media posts about the Navy. He's very active on social media, very active on Facebook, and we always see him posting about the Navy and recruiting for the Navy. So he was born in Munster, Indiana, but he grew up in the Bicol region of the Philippines. So he's a true-blooded Oregon, and his active duty in the Navy has led him to many places around the world on board various U.S. Navy vessels. And I heard that he's actually going on tour again around the world. So we'll hear about that directly from him. Let's all welcome Sherwin. Hi, Sherwin. How
So,
are you doing?
hi, good evening. So, nothing but great. So, excited to be here. Thanks again for inviting me. This is for the Memorial Day, so we'll touch about being in the active duty in the Navy and the military, and also what we are commemorating over the week. Not really celebrating, but commemorating over the
Yes.
weekend about like the service member who did not make it back home. So, yes.
Yes, and this is actually Sherwin's third time on our show. The very first time we did a virtual class about the Navy, right? Like
Correct.
all of the you talked about all of the pros about being in the Navy, all the benefits, all of that good stuff, right?
Correct.
And our second guest is actually Mike Ho of the U.S. Marine Corps, and he's an administrative specialist and manpower systems analyst who actually hails from Pasay City in Manila. And when he was 5 years old, he and his family migrated to San Gabriel, California, and he enlisted in the Marine Corps at 20 years old, and he proceeded it with travel and adventure to so many different places around the world. And he was also in Okinawa, Japan, and he did 2 tours at Iraq and Al Assad. So we'll hear more about his experiences. And Mike is actually transitioning into working with the VA's office, and he looks forward to continuing to support veterans and spend a lot more time with his family. So we'll hear from him directly. Let's all welcome Mike. So hashtag Mike, everybody. Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
Hey guys, how's everyone going? What an honor to be here tonight.
We finally meet online after such a long
Yeah.
time.
Well, I feel like I know you a little bit because I watch your show whenever it comes on Facebook Live. So.
Oh, really? That's a
Oh, absolutely.
surprise. And so for those people who are asking, we're live on Facebook, Nick Diaz Presents Facebook page, and we're also on youtube.com/C/Mick Diaz Presents. And we also have viewers from the Philippines because we're on Kumu. And we're also on Twitch. So yeah, we're expanding. We're in all of these online channels. And hi to everyone who's watching. I know like Mike's family is watching. Hi to Christino, and hi to everybody who's watching. And our next guest is Denise Diaz. She's a U.S. Army veteran. And she is a U.S. Army Food Service Specialist, and she served in the Army for 6 years, and she did a tour in Iraq and in Afghanistan, and she was also on overseas assignment in South Korea, and she currently resides in LA and is now a general manager for a restaurant out of LA and is taking classes through the V School in web development, and she's also a brand ambassador for Military Fresh Network. So we'll find out more about what Military Fresh Network is. This is the first time I'm hearing about that. So let's all welcome Denise Diaz. Hi, Denise. Are you out there?
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Hello?
Hi, Mike.
Hi,
Hey, Denise.
it's
Hey, guys.
actually Mick. Hi. Are you coming on live?
Yeah, 1 second.
There you go.
Hi,
Hi.
guys.
How are
Say
you
hi,
doing?
good evening.
Good
So
evening,
where are
guys.
you coming from? Where are you
I-
located right now?
I am currently in Long Beach right now.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So we're all in SoCal. And we have Paul Uasensi, who's actually U.S. Navy chief and recruiter. So Paul migrated from the Philippines back in 2002, and 3 years later, he joined the U.S. Navy in 2005. And he has been in the military for 16 years, and he is currently serving as a recruiter in LA. So let's all welcome Paul Uasensi. Hashtag Paul, everybody. Hi, how are you doing?
Hi guys.
Hello again.
Hi.
Up?
Hey, what's up, bro?
Hi. And so we're waiting for Alistair, so he'll be around shortly. But yeah, so and for anybody like Mike or Paul or Sherwin or Denise, can you explain to us what Memorial Day is?
So we'll probably have each one of us, especially from different services, right? I'll start it with, as I said earlier, the Memorial Day is not really a celebration, but commemorating those service members that never made it home. Um, yeah, so pretty much just looking pretty much look back to what they have done to the country and the sacrifices.
Mm-hmm. And for Denise or Paul or Mike, do you have anything to add to that?
So, there's a difference, right? A lot of people confuse Memorial Day with Veterans Day or Armed Forces Day, right? So just to clarify, Armed Forces Day is for us active duty members, right? And then you have Veterans Day who served, who retired or did their time in the military, and then you have the Memorial Day, which is who never made it out of the uniform. You know, either it was killed in action or prisoner of war. So that's this holiday is for them. It's not for us.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah, Memorial Day. I was going to add Memorial Day dates back really and started after the Civil War when we lost. That was the first conflict that we lost so many service members during that time. So, you know, naturally there was a long period where people were mourning and they would go visit their loved ones at the cemeteries. So that's why you attach that word memorial in there. It's not really necessarily. I mean, we don't want to take away from, you know, the time off and spending time with family, because I think that's, you know, that's all in the same element. But it's definitely in remembrance for that, and then just knowing that that was how it first started, with paying your respects by going and, you know, in traditionally with what I used to do, especially with the young guys that worked for me, because there was like what Paul and Sherwin kind of explained, how, you know, there's a misconception with it. I would bring the young Marines over to the National Cemetery and you didn't have to know anybody. It was just, you know, if you served if you're in uniform and you serve, everybody is your brother, everybody is your sister at that point. So it was really just taking a little bit time of your day and being intentional with it and paying respects.
And so, what activities are happening over the weekend, over Memorial Day?
So, example here in Hawaiian Gardens in city of Lakewood, they have like a commemoration over tomorrow, Monday noon. They're gonna read pretty much people that died and prisoner of war that did not make it home. That mainly residents of Lakewood, Long Beach, Cerritos. So so the surrounding cities of Lakewood. They have a memorial wall in there with those names. So those are one of the activities. A lot of people will visit like the national cemeteries and the local cemeteries, wherever like there's a service member that passed away, like pay respect to them. So
Yeah, I think a frequent event is like the playing of taps. You know, just a quick pause. That's typically what happens at every base. They'll do a Memorial Day ceremony in the morning.
Yeah, actually, also a volunteer for me. I know Sherwin mentioned it. They actually a volunteer for us here in LA. Actually, I'm going one. Azusa has a memorial, some kind of memorial. We have a meeting on it on Saturday. So basically, taps and of course the raising the flag in the morning too. So everybody has their own way of celebrating Memorial Day. So you just got to be out in their community and participate in all that.
Awesome. So, are you out? Who is outside with a lot of people?
I am. I'm sorry.
Okay. I know is there a party happening over there?
No, there's not. So, but for active duty members, we also get extra days off for this weekend, and mine started tonight. So I'm actually trying to transition out of town, but yeah, except for recruiters.
Okay.
Recruiters are 365.
you have something to add, Miss Denise?
Yeah, I wanted to add also that I know Memorial Day is for a lot of our brothers and sisters that didn't make it back from overseas, but I also take this holiday as a remembrance of those that we've lost here back home with suicide rates being high up. I've actually have lost more to suicide than I did at war, so I actually view this holiday a little differently than others. I know some have lost overseas, but I've actually lost more to suicide than to war itself. So that one, it's not spoken of very often, but it is real and it does happen quite often.
I know Alistair is here. Oh,
Can you guys?
hi.
Hey,
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So for everybody who's watching, can you introduce yourself, Alistair? And what branch of the military you serve in, what you represent?
Yeah. Hi everybody. My name is Alistair Mercado. I'm a sergeant first class in the active duty Army. I'm a recruiting station commander in San Gabriel Valley. I run the El Monte recruiting station. I've been in service 18 years. I retired in 2 years. It's coming up really quick. Of course, I was not a recruiter when I first joined. I joined as an artilleryman. I was on the line for about 10 years. And during that 10 years, I went to school and completed my bachelor's in psychology. Was going to get out, but decided to do a career in recruiting and kind of fell in love with the craft. And recruited in Orange County, Hawaii, and back here in LA. And then we'll be exiting from the military as a career recruiter and go back to Hawaii and finish up about maybe 1 year of school for my MBA, and then go from there.
That is awesome. And for everyone else here, can you please share how you started in the military? So let's do it counterclockwise from my view. So we'll start with Paul.
Oh, me? Oh, so I joined back in 2005. Actually didn't want to join at first. Funny story, my sister wanted to join the Navy, right? So my mom was like, she will join only if you join. At that point, I was undecided, right? I didn't know what to do after high school and whatnot, and my sister really wanted to join. So I'm like, you know what? I'll join. You know, let's do 4 years, and then next thing you know, it became 8, and then 10, 15, and now I'm at 60, almost 16 years. I mean, looking back, my sister got out after 5 years, and I stayed behind. I got comfortable with what I'm doing. I love the job. And my sister became a nurse. So, you know, here I am. 4 years left. We'll see where it takes me. I got a year left in recruiting. And Alistair, if you're leaving soon, like just pass me your rejects, whatever.
Oh, I got you, man. You're a recruiter now too, right?
You know.
You guys are neighbors.
Right, yeah.
Wait. So what station do you work out of?
I just moved into Azusa March. I took over that station.
I see. So you guys know Chief Ferrales?
Yeah.
So me and him went to junior high together, graduated high school together.
Small world.
We known each other for a quarter of a century. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. He was matter of fact, he was a recruiter in Las Vegas when I joined.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's like a long time ago. But yep. So yeah, I got 4 years left. See what it takes me. I got a year left here, and I'm picking orders next month. I don't know. I'm trying to go to San Diego. Last sea tour. I miss the traveling part. Recruiting is okay, but you know, being out in the Navy, get to travel. It's part of the experience. Traveling, going to different countries, experience the culture, and all. That's what I miss. Giving opportunities to kids. It's good. It's great, but I want to be out there too. I miss it. Sherwin's laughing because he's about to go.
So Sherwin, tell us how you got into the military. I know you're born in a military family, right?
No.
No?
So my story is pretty much same thing as majority of the kids. So grew up in the Philippines, came over here came back here in United States, live in Lakewood, where I recruited at now. Went to Artesia High School from sophomore to senior year, and pretty much all along since growing up in the Philippines, my neighbors are like serve in the Navy or retired in the Navy. You could tell it by their house. If it is like the bigger the house, like the longer they stayed in the Navy. So growing up, I was told like, hey, if you wanna achieve one of these, when you go back to States after high school, join the Navy, do 20 years and retired. And then you could come back here and pretty much live a lifestyle like this. So graduated of Artesia High School here in Lakewood back in 2003. That's by September. Last week of September, did a same day process. That's a Wednesday. Test in the morning and pretty much ASVAB test, medical, and pretty much contract that afternoon. And yeah, the guys that gives out job, we call it the classifier, asked me like how many years I want to serve. I said I want to sign up for 20, and I got told let's say hold up, like we do this by contract. So yeah, supposed to have an IT, but then come to find out I will be in the delayed entry program for about 6 months, and I declined those. I said like what job is available for me to leave tonight? I said I'm ready. So he said like wait, give it like it's gotta take a week. Back in the days, that's when we joined like early after 9/11 to pretty much but maybe like 10 years from that. Yeah, like everybody's patriotic. So pretty much everybody's in the mind is like serve the country, and so that's probably all of us here. So yeah, waited 7 days. So last week of September, and then by October 7th, that's like my first active duty date. And then 17 years now. By the time I leave here, it's almost 18. Been in the recruiting for almost 4 years. Yeah,
A
4 years this
It's
month.
a beast.
Help out a lot of kids. As I said, like it comes out. The passion comes out if you love what you've been doing, and then because if you don't, it won't come out when you start talking to to the potential applicants. So yeah, 4 years now. I'm checking out June 15th and heading out to Pensacola, Florida for um, career refresher school, and by fall I will be reporting to my last ship, the USS Gerald Ford out of Norfolk, Virginia. So yeah, last ride. My time will get pushed all the way to 22, but that's okay. So yes.
You sound so excited.
Oh yeah,
I'm
very
getting
Watch,
passionate.
he's gonna put like 2 more people, 3 more people before he leaves. Watch, I believe it.
And everyone has to get excited, right? So you have to be just as excited as everyone else, right? And
It
so
really
then,
depends. So the different service members, different, as I said, each one of us had went to different paths. So Army, Marines, Air Force, different lifestyles. So every one of us have a unique experience, different unique stories on each, like Armed Forces Day, Memorial Day, um, Veterans Day, because we all experience pretty much, especially talking about Memorial Day, is like the hardest one. Yeah,
mhm.
I know during my time in 17 years in the Navy, I was, well, yeah, pretty sad. Yes. So sweet, like, yeah, suicides. So those are the one that you kind of like get experience in the being in the Navy. So yeah, this is not really like a celebration weekend. This is like a commemorating weekend. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's something that a lot of us have to be aware about. There is a lot of mental illness, right, and a lot of PTSD, and suicide rates are high among military men, right? And so Denise was actually mentioning that earlier. So Denise, can you tell us a little bit about how you started in the military and what got you into the military?
Well, I joined the Army in 2008 out of Dallas, Texas. I'm actually from Texas. I joined at the age of 20, like Mike. However, I actually joined without the approval of my parents because my parents wanted me to go back home to the Philippines. So I just kind of took the quick way out and joined the Army. I originally signed up for 3 years, and then within 10 months, I was on a plane to Iraq. I did a tour there, came back, and then within 2 months after that, I spent some time in Korea, came back to the States for less than 10 months, and then found myself on my way to Afghanistan. And then a few months after that, I had gotten out, and I had a rough adjustment getting out. The first year, 2 years of transitioning, and then I moved out here to Southern California, and it's been great ever since.
That is awesome. And so we'll get back to Mike a little bit later. Yeah, we kind of lost him. And so going back to what you said, like being on tour in Iraq, what was that like, Denise?
Iraq itself, it was completely different from my second tour in Afghanistan. The tactics and the way we approached how we went about our mission was very different. The time frame that I went into Iraq, everything was, I guess you would say, more set up than how other people before me went in. So it wasn't as brutal as it was for me per se, but it had its challenges.
Mm-hmm. And Paul or Alistair, do you have anything to add to your experiences when you were deployed?
Paul, you want to go first?
As far as suicides, right?
What was it like? What's your experience like when you were deployed or on tour?
Travel? Navy? Oh my god. This one of the things I miss about being out here doing shore duty, right? Is basically out here you're in a station with like this 5 people or 2-3 people you work with, right? Being out in the ship or in an actual base where there's like a lot of sailors out there, it's different. The camaraderie is there. The brothers and sisterhood is right there. That's one of the biggest things that I miss. Being out here, right? But also you got to make sure once you're like supervise or manage X amount of people, you got to make sure you know them. We call it intrusive leadership. That way we got to make sure that our sailors are good, right, mentally and physically, right? Because you don't know what's going through their heads. You know how everybody copes differently, right? So you got to make sure that they're good as far as their mental health, right? Because you never know. Some people it may be their first time on deployment. They don't know what to expect. So it's a lot of mentoring to these young guys, just to keep them engaged. Just because we're in the middle of the ocean doesn't mean that we don't have gyms. We don't have off times, right? We still hang out with other. If Sherwin was on a ship, we would be hanging out. We'd be hanging out after work, So you just have to find a way to relieve stress while you're out there, because being on deployment, you're sleeping and working at the same place basically, right? So you got to make sure that you have avenues to go, just to blow off steam or find time to de-stress. But yeah, other than that, I miss being on deployment, the places we go to and everything, experience different cultures and whatnot. Yeah.
And Alistair, I know you have a lot of experiences out there.
Yeah, probably too much, and this is kind of a touchy topic for me, like deployment, because I have lost peers that have been killed in the worst ways, and but everything that they've described is the same. The separation anxiety is the same. The isolation. It's almost. I mean, I've never been in prison before, but it probably feels the same way, where you just. Sorry, my son's screaming. Being afraid to go to sleep at night was probably the hardest thing for me, because you're scared to go to sleep. Deployment these days is a lot better than I would imagine during my father's time, because there's the internet, there's social media. I was able to call at the time, my fiance every day. So I was very fortunate. Some deployments, people are not that fortunate. Some are what we like to say outside the wire for extended periods of time, and they don't know when they'll be back in the wire to communicate with the outside world. So being artillery, like I said, yeah, that was the tough thing, was just going to sleep every night, not knowing if you're going to wake up. So, yeah. But I went through it, and I'm here now, and I can talk about it. So I guess I'm lucky.
Yes. And Sherwin?
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us about your experiences on tour. While you were on tour. Yeah.
So basically, Navy, you work on the ship. That's what we advertise is to travel, traveling the world. So the way it goes is, let's say if you're stationed in San Diego. So my duty station is in an aircraft carrier. So what the aircraft carrier mission is to launch and recover aircrafts, F-18, helicopters, and all those surveillance small aircraft. When we, let's say you're stationed in West Coast, San Diego, we're calling it about 6 months to 8 months deployment. So the first go is always like a 1 month. So 1 month is pretty much you train, you you train first, then you execute all the trainings that you pretty much did and execute the mission. Then after that, first port will be Hawaii. 5 days in Hawaii, you do R&R. So it's pretty much like a tourist. You're like in the cruise ship. Um, so that's what the Navy is. So after 5 days in Hawaii, go back to the ship, you start steaming, traveling towards Asia Pacific. Um, you could pick a stop like Japan, Malaysia, South Korea, Singapore, Philippines, Australia. Then you'll ended up going to the Middle East. When the aircraft carrier gets into the Middle East, that's about 3 to 6 months of operation, just circling around in and out of Dubai. And then after that, on the way back home, you'll swing by a couple of ports, then head back home. And that's like the how the Navy deployment is. And from that, come back home. Now the ships will go to the maintenance side, so you will be home for about a year and a half, and that's pretty much like home to work. Then you do it again. So on a 5 year, for a one contract, which is minimum of 5 years, you'll probably go to deployment 2 or 3 times. So that's what's the Navy life. That's what me and Chief Paul experience, and probably Mike here. If we like happen to, we'll take them wherever they need to go, and yeah,
And
do it
Mike,
again.
oh. Mike, what is your experience like when you were on tour?
I think someone might have mentioned being patriotic at one point. I've been in for a little bit, so I don't think a lot of people remember what life was like before.
Oh, cut off.
Oh, yeah, we're losing Mike. Yeah, but so what are your memorable experiences while you were on duty or on tour or deployed?
What is the most memorable?
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
This
for you.
this tour in recruiting. This will be my most, will be the top. Yeah, with hard work and dedication.
How many people have you put in the Navy?
We put in over 200 people in the Navy. So
Oh,
pretty
wow.
much for the
Changing
past
lives.
for the past 4 years. So yeah, so just kind of like, as I said, helping it out. Last week I just found out that one of my sailor that I help out just commissioned as an officer. So now I can brag that I build my own division with a division officer, and then I'll probably brag about become the OIC senior senior office, like senior enlisted officer. And then I got pretty much few second class E5s, E4s. This is just like, wow, that's like incredible. So this will with this recruiting duty here in LA will top like pretty much the experiences. But some, like, next to that will be Japan tour. Was very, like, my first sure duty in Japan was on the top before. Now it's kind of like on the second because of this tour in LA, and then pretty much the ships tours. So yeah, in just Socal Pinoy group, I help out almost 15 families,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Have someone joined. I was just thinking like with, let's say like with almost 40K, I was envisioning to put in about 400 people out of the group. But I will leave that to you guys when I leave. So continue to share the message and just educate everyone to kind of like, even you saying that this is not for you, take a look at it, right? Take a look at it because it's an option. So yeah, and I will be continuing advocating like the military, the Navy, even if I go back to the ship. So yeah.
Good
That
job.
is so awesome. Yeah, that is so awesome. I mean, every time Sherwin speaks, I get so excited about being in the military, being in the Navy, right? And that's just what you need to get a lot of people, you know, in the Navy.
It's all about the
So to
attitude. That's
speak.
wherever you go, whatever branch, regardless of what you do. As long as you have that attitude, that's it. That's how what people brings people in.
So going back to my question, now that we have Mike back on, what are your experiences, on duty during tour or being deployed?
Yes, I'll just kind of speed it up a little bit. So 9/11 happened. During that time, we weren't really engaged in anything. So everyone was really excited to deploy during that time. People were begging to deploy. Everybody was volunteering. So we go out there, and I mean, that was a big realization that, whoa, like this is really a foreign country. We don't belong here. Um, some of, like Alistair kind of hit on it, like leaving an area where there's a restroom nearby, going into really a nothing looks familiar whatsoever. That really shut me up, kind of doing those things. Like, yeah, I was an administrator, but when you deploy with the unit, it really depends on what they do is what you learn how to do. So none of that stuff really catches up to you, the excitement or the worry, until after, like months after. You just kind of, in my experience, I look back and I was like, wow, that was really something. That what and that's the readjustment I think you touched on. So I kind of use that experience, moving forward, with the tour, is that now we're in a time where things are kind of quiet. We hear about it, we're not totally engaged. But for the guys that already kind of been out there, all we do is teach and prepare and teach and prepare, and that's all we keep on trying to emphasize to these guys. So I've had a really great time in the military, the diversity in the military. I mean, it is unfortunate that I haven't been as associated with a lot more Filipinos. Like I look at this group, makes me super proud. Super proud. Each one, they speak well, they communicate well, they represent well. They're so proud of what they do. And then to tie in the cultural aspect of it, like no one shies away from being Filipino and being a service member. And in the Marine Corps, that's really, we're a very small few in the Marine Corps itself. So I mean, we speak up a lot. That's that's what we do in the military. But I'm closing out 23 years. It's been, I mean, phenomenal ride. It hasn't been all fun. The first 10 years, I think, it was the blast, and then the 10 years after that, it's just been like just really just sitting deep in thought, and sometimes just thinking, oh, okay, how many more months that what's my next move, etc. Kind of deal. But because it's I would say so. The military, if you don't have, and it's funny because these guys are all recruiters, right? So I'm the guy. I was walking around, had no idea about the military whatsoever. I go and visit the Air Force recruiter. He has the "Be Right Back" sign right in front of it, and
They don't even work.
yeah, they don't even
That's why
work.
most of them ended up in the Navy.
Right.
Yep, we're right next door.
And then I hear a Marine recruiter. It could have been an Army recruiter, to be honest with you. He screams at me, It says, "What are you doing?" And I turn around and I'm like, "Who's this guy yelling at me?" And I smile at him. And it's really actually because I grew up in Azusa in the Amani area, so it's the same environment. These guys are familiar with that culture out there, and I kind of had a little attitude. I'm like, "What?" He says, "Get in here and sit your butt down." No idea what I was doing, but you realize really quick, like, this is what you were looking for. At least for me, that's what it was. The direction, sense of direction, the sense of pride. I grew up a lot. I grew up a lot in the military. It's taught me. Definitely taught me about America, because I'm not going to sit here and say like I knew. I stood up with my right hand over my heart. When I was 18 years old, no idea. The flag means so much more to me, the Pinoy flag and the American flag, but so much more to me than it ever did before. But it's more representative of the people it represents. It's not just service members. It's everybody it's the people. We really work for the people.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think the best times, the most memorable times for me in the military is going to be the hardest times when I'm around people, when I'm around my brothers and sisters. Those are going to be the most memorable times. I remember the fun times, but they're not the times that I look back at and say, you know what, let me check on my brother Chris, let me check on my sister Denise, and so and so. That's something that you really don't train. That's something that just occurs because you grow a love for something, right? And that occurs in the military. That's what happened to me.
That is so awesome. And thank you so much to everyone for representing for us and for serving and protecting us. And that's something that a lot of people should recognize, right? So I know you mentioned a lot about challenges, and so what types of challenges do military men encounter? I mean, we all know the obvious, right? Which is, death out there. But what are, the different types of challenges that you encounter?
I think I can start off that one.
Okay.
So I grew up in a Navy family.
What happened?
I know, right? I wanted to take a right turn and see how different color, on the other side of the yard. So I was under the impression, since I was exposed to a military life my whole life, I thought Filipinos were everywhere. So when I joined the Army, I expected the same thing. No, I was one of maybe 3 Asian men in my, we call it battery, in my basic training unit. And everyone, okay, in case you didn't know, Army installations are co-located more in landlocked states or in the South. So what's in the South? There's no Filipinos there, right? So I remember in basic, it was me, a Korean guy, a Chinese guy, and a Vietnamese guy that was adopted by a white family, and his last name was Beekman. That was his last name. He was adopted. So of course we clicked very well. We connected. We had each other, all 4 of us. Maybe for the first, honestly, until I deployed, I was like, where are all the damn Filipinos at? What happened? My first duty station was Korea, and of course there's a lot of Filipinos there, OFWs that work in the entertainment industry and in factories and stuff like that. But like, where are like the Filipinos like me? It just wasn't a thing. And plus I'm in a combat occupation, so it's not very common for a Filipino to be in a combat occupation. So the Filipinos I did meet in the military, in the Army, were not doing what I was doing. They were, in the medical field or in administration or logistics, the common stereotypical, like, that's what we're supposed to do. So at the same time, I think I was very proud that I was able to represent being one in a combat occupation. Some people thought I was crazy or nuts. Like, why would you do that? But I'm like, hey, it's just, I remember, I think Sherwin remembers me saying this from the last time we talked. I just don't want to be another Filipino in the Navy. And if I was going to do the Army, I want to do something different. You know, that's just how my mindset was. I joined when I was 21, and I'm like, if I'm going to join the Army, I want to be the guy on the poster. You know what I mean? So why not? You know,
You paved the way. There's a lot of
Exactly.
Filipinos now
That's
in
all
the
that matters.
army.
You paved the way.
now, yeah, actually now, yes. And I proudly have been a part of that, because when I started recruiting here in Socal, I would tell the Filipino candidates or the applicants I have, like, hey,
There's other branch, not just the Navy. Go different. Yeah, because I encountered some of them, and then it's like, okay, go ahead, like, good, thank you for doing that, and enjoy and be safe, and same thing, take advantage of the benefits, and then everything, and then yeah, so some of them are already, well, I help out a couple of them that they're stationed now in Korea, and they're having a blast. So yeah, I'm like a pro military. Like
Yeah,
if I cannot like make you go the Navy, is like, hey, here's the office, go
Right.
visit them and pick one and enjoy.
Yeah, one of the things I was very proud of doing, especially initially, I mean, I don't really do the recruiting side because I run the station instead, and just make sure my recruiters are doing the right thing. When I was just a on-the-line recruiter, I was so proud to, you know, put a lot of Philippine immigrants in, because they still have a green card, and then, you know, watch them become U.S. citizens, build a family and everything like that. And I look, you know, I still talk to them after all these years of being in recruiting for over 10 years. I'm like, wow, like I contributed to that. I'm like so proud of that, you know? So that is why I stuck with this job, because the lasting effects is what really got me attached to maintain doing this occupation.
Oh, before we move on, I just want to say, like, we could celebrate one of our Socal family member. I forgot what his name, like Mike, the Marine Corps that passed away. He was a rapper. What was that, Mick? What's his name?
Mike's brother.
Oh,
Mark.
Oh, Mark. There we go. So yeah, so I mean, to him, and then like, yeah, we'll celebrate him over the weekend.
I appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Yes, and so going to Mike, what challenges did you have?
Kind of similar to what Alistair was touching on. So there was a group, and it's not just a social group. It's sanctioned now by the Marine Corps. But when I was in Quantico, I was able. That's kind of like headquarters Marine Corps there. I was able to run into some Asian officers there, and through discussion, then we really said, like, you know, like there's a lot of us, but we don't really have, you know, defined seat at the table. And then as we started discussing things, you know, and because really I'm just trying to be a Marine. I'm just trying to be a service member. I try not to even truly distinguish myself as anything else. But they kind of opened my eyes to this. In an Asian culture, we really just sit down, put our head down, and work really hard, right? But when it comes to promoting yourself, and not promoting yourself in the sense where you ceremonial promotion, the definition promoting of talking about yourself and being able to say your attributes and do all those things. Culturally, we're humble. We don't do those type of things. And it really made me think back, like, you know what? He's right. I mean, I competed a lot, and on every aspect. I'm just a competitive person, period. Right. And so, but at the same time, I did realize that there were some people, they weren't even great Marines. They just really talked really loud and just, you know, they were, you know, that I'm not, it's predominantly black and white. Right. And they golf, they do certain things. There is a cultural challenge there where we come in, and we kind of have to learn how to maneuver through that. But through the discussion with those guys, one of them was, I mean, he's formerly enlisted, went the officer route. He's Korean and Chinese. It's just a great, smart individual. He created this group where we basically have like an official heritage group now in the Marine Corps, where it's APA, Asian Pacific Americans. and there's conferences and there's guest speakers, and they really address being Asian in the military and teach you how to talk really at the table, at the big boy table, because we go there, and I don't know if it's because our parents kind of telling you, you don't talk back to your parents. So that stuff definitely crosses over into the military culture, where you just don't want to get in trouble ever. That's not always the right thing to do, is not speak up. You want to speak up. So I would say that was those type of challenges. Aside from, I think, the common ones that people have. I can't really say I've experienced a lot of racism in the military, but I don't. That's probably because I choose who I hang out with. So it exists. It absolutely is there. I just don't choose to be around those circles. So.
That is awesome. And there are definitely unseen, challenges and difficulties that a lot of people like us, like laymen, don't know about, right? I mean, obviously, you who are in the military would know more about them. And it's really good that we're having these discussions because, a lot of us don't really know what it's like in the military, and we don't really hear a lot from Filipinos, fellow Filipinos who are in the military, right? And so Denise, do you have any thing to add as far as like what challenges you've had in the military, what challenging experiences you've had? Do you want to add anything?
The thing I'd add for that would be, the thing I'd add to that would be, being a female in the military, it had its challenges. You'd have females that fresh out of training and trying to find an easy way out to get to be the favorite of whoever the NCO is over them, to be able to pass all their tests. But then you have some of the females who moved up ranks and did it, by doing it their hard, working hard and actually doing what they had to do to get through the military. And it's hard because you're viewed as a female. Either you're going to be the type to find a way out to make things easy for yourself in your military career, or you're going to be one of those females that move ranks. You're just going to be more of a, I guess you'd say, more of a hard ass. I do go up the ranks because you as a female know how to handle your own and be able to maneuver your way through the military, because there isn't enough females that joins the military itself. And especially being Asian as well. Same thing. I mean, in the Army, I can count one hand per duty station I've been in of how many Asian counterparts I've encountered. So it's not very common.
Mm-hmm. And Sherwin or Paul, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm okay. I'm good. I had not really struggles, but everybody has their own struggle, but it's how you cope and how you deal with it, right? I have on deployments. I have my second family over there to help me out as far as coping and everything, or motivate me, all that. Of course, the call from home, families, the wife, and all that. So, yeah, I'm okay. I try to. What's that?
No, for the Navy, it's reverse, right? If you guys are talking, like, you guys are the few, I'm trying to get out, like, on the circle. If you guys heard about, it's called, the Filipino mafia in the Navy.
No such thing.
Well, you're gonna come out of that, right? Because everybody's like competing, on like the regular, like on the nice way, right? But hey, you gotta put your A game, because everybody's on their A game, and you quit, you get left behind. So yeah.
No, yeah, and it's the attitude of us Filipinos out there, right? Like you're Filipino, they can always rely on you, right? But at the same time, what Mike was saying, we just do our job, bow our head down. But at the same time, you got to brag about you that you did all X, Y, Z, right? Because nobody's gonna, your supervisors, the higher chain of command, they know that you do the work. You know what I'm saying? But none of us, we're not really big, political. We don't play that game. We just do the work and we do all that. But at one point that you gotta speak up for yourself, because at the end of the day, it's your career, right? It's your, you gotta go up the ranks. That's probably one of the struggles, maybe. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'll add one quick thing too, is that it's not just a Filipino thing. It's just every service member has to deal with this, especially if they end up getting married, or even if they're single. The balance of priorities of kind of remaining true to yourself and who you are, especially if you're a creative person before. The military is it's very black and white. It's straightforward and rigid. So if you want to be creative, that's not, you got to do that on your own time. And it's important. I always encourage people when I find out, if they were artists, if they were musicians before, like continue to do that. And then I think one of the biggest challenges that service members have that maybe that people that are not service members realize is the constant decision or that we have to make on, do we go home and see our families, or do we stay here and grind out for another hour? That's going to turn to 2 hours. That's going to turn to 3 hours. And we really don't mean it. We really don't mean to stay late at work. Military family, then your own family. And it takes some experience to finally get to a certain point where you just find out a way to make it all work. Whether it's like you come in early and you do, or you wake up early and you do all the things for the family, you get to work and you grind out real hard so that you can make it home. There's so many different ways to do it, but that is a big challenge, is having to come up with excuses to your family all the time why you're late or why you're missing stuff. That's constant. And for us, we won't ever let our families know that we're going through it. We're always just saying we're sorry, for the most part, until we figure it out.
That is so awesome. And so do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on? I know Sherwin's really excited to go back on the ship, right? So anyone else who has something else going on? Like Mike's gonna transition to the Veterans Office, right?
Yeah,
Veterans Administration.
Yeah, I work for the VA and start reviewing those awesome disability claims. So you guys keep my.
I got my point of contact now.
Yep.
I got you. Now, and it allows me to still really serve the community, not just veteran community. I see it as just serving the community, but it feels really good to know that that I may be able to help people out. There's a lot of people that take advantage of people in that, I think, in that realm, and it's not required. I mean, the guy deserves it. Help him out, and that's what I look forward to doing, amongst other things. Just being still connected. So, yeah, that's really big for me, and I really lately just trying to get back to Filipino things, like trying to learn Filipino martial arts. Why am I trying to do it at 43 years old? I don't know. It looks pretty cool right now. My girlfriend Tony, she teaches, and knows a little bit of CALI, so I think that's how I got introduced to it, and I was really kind of amazed with the movement of it, with the cultural aspect of it. Just it's like a beautiful thing. So those are things I'm really being able to engage again back into the culture and creativity. So that's a big that's really exciting for me. I'm even considering learning some Filipino dance or something. That it's I'm not in the military anymore. I got some time, so I look forward to it, right?
You have a lot of time in your hands now.
It seems like it. I still got an 8-hour job, but the military really packs 10 pounds in your little tiny bag. Well, 80 pounds in a little tiny 10-pound bag. So, Yeah, but I'm always going to be a proud service member, you know, for the most part, and always be a part of me. But yeah, all those things, and I mean, this is a big first step, just coming on your show and kind of, you know, engaging with some real standout people.
That is awesome, and all of your standouts. And Paul, anything happening with you?
No.
He will take over.
He will
No.
take over the reins of
I guess
Sherwin.
this is passed down, you know. But no. I have a year left out here in recruiting duty. I'll be picking orders next month. I'm trying to go back to San Diego. But for now, I'm trying to survive recruiting. Took over a station, so I have 5 recruiters under me. Yeah, take it one day at a time. It's mission week this week, mission day tomorrow. So stressful week. But yeah, that's it. If you guys know anybody that's in the Azusa area, I don't mind driving to El Monte. Right? No, but yeah, seriously. Like Sherwin said, it's all about helping our fellow Filipinos out there. Alistair said it too. If it's like a jump start to their careers or life if they just moved out here, coming from the Philippines, right? Actually, when I joined back in the day, my dad actually said if I was any younger, I would have joined too. Because coming from the Philippines, moving out here is you start from the bottom again, right? So actually, that was one of the things that I remember that he said that if he wasn't any younger, then he would have joined. But so I know they're proud of us, having our own careers out here, paving our way for our future and whatnot. But that's life. We're at a platform, Alistair, Sherwin. We're at a platform that we're able to change lives. So if you have anybody, just let us know, and then we'll give them the up-to-date information, like Sherwin says on his post, up-to-date information about everything. I'm not, like Sherwin says, I'm not one to force anybody to join the Navy or a specific branch. I'm open-minded. Give them a chance. To give me a chance to show what a Navy can do for you, and then if you don't like what I'm saying, then you could hop on next door. Right, Sherwin?
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. So we still have like almost 500 individuals in the group to convince. So one day at a time.
Right.
That is so awesome. And Alistair, anything going on? Anything new happening?
Yeah. I started leave today, so I'll be off for the next 10 days.
I'll leave tomorrow.
What do you call it? It doesn't, off topic a little bit, but doesn't, I think Francis de Guzman runs the El Mate side for the Navy.
Yeah.
Right?
Me and him were stationed in Japan together.
Oh, nice. What base?
On Yokosuka, on Kitty Hawk together. Yeah. So we were like junior sailors back in the day.
Yokosuka. That's
crawling with the haunch.
That's close to Atsugi and Kamzama, I think, right? Atsugi.
Was that?
Yeah, the closest to Atsugi is the Kapsama.
Yeah. Okay. I remember that because my dad was stationed there when I was a kid. So I remember my life in Japan was great.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I just hit 18 years, so I'm going to be probably talking to Mike and seeing how he's transitioning out. What the great thing about the Army, it's like once you hit 18 years service, I hope certain people aren't listening, but like you're kind of like invincible at that point. You can't get kicked out anymore unless you do something really bad. Right. So not saying I'm just gonna like check out the next 2 years, but there's something called the SOFL, right? SFLP, Soldier for Life program. So starting now, I can start getting ready for retirement. So doing internships, whatever. There's select recruiters that are actually transitioning out as well that can attend school now. So that way, when they get out, they already have a job waiting for them. So, like I said, I can go ahead and start working on my MBA. Probably go to APU, which is right down the street, or something. I'm actually very excited to retire because now I can see what my skills translate to.
You have extra time in your hands.
What's that?
You'll have extra time in your
Yeah,
hands.
and you know what? Like, I'm gonna get a nose piercing when I get out too, man.
This is just so. This is just so nice. Look at us all, 4 of us, 5 of us here talking about retirement. Like we're like 29 years old,
Yeah.
right? See,
It's
So-
29.
It's start a whole other career, man. Like I'll be 41, so it's just sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, I still remember when I was an E1 private, or like, and I look at my chest, just like, how did I get all this rank on my chest?
Yeah.
I still feel like the same guy. I was like, wow, I've been in charge of all this. It's crazy. Like the amount of responsibility. Like when I was on the line, when I was in the mainstream army, I was responsible for a $10 million item. I'm just like, God, are you serious? I'm only 21.
Yeah.
Our responsibility.
Yeah, and now I'm responsible for pretty much a whole district, a whole city, and the mannerisms and the practices and just the way you carry yourself. You have to be careful, because we interact with teachers, schools, kids, parents, whatever. We really gotta.
It becomes political.
Yeah, you're like ambassadors to your branch, and so you gotta be right. I mean, I think the when I was in the Big Island in Kona. I was one of only 14 active duty guys on the island. So everybody on the island knew who I was, what I did, who my wife was, who my son was. So I had to be careful. Like, I had to be careful. I had to go to the supermarket and buy an orange. I just had to be careful with everything I did, because everyone knew what I was and what I represented. So, this next 2 years, it's all going to be about me. Because,
You gave 18 years to them.
Here.
Yeah, yeah. I actually started my medical stuff last week, so I have a couple medical appointments to attend the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Don't let anybody tell you that you're taking.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody.
That is so awesome. It's good to see how you guys are so excited about life and transitioning out of the military. So I wanted to ask Denise the same thing, but so now we're going to our raffle, because we do have raffles. During Who is Socal or Who is CALI now, and pretty soon it's going to be Who Are We, because we're going global. We have some guests coming from the Philippines in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, that's what's happening with us. And so now we're going to have our raffle. I'm just trying to look for the picture. I wanted to show you the picture of the raffle. But so this is the raffle price. So for you guys who are out there, who are watching, our viewers, #raffle if you want to enter our raffle. So we have 2 prizes for tonight, 2 winners. So it's 3 facial masks and 1 wet wipe sets, because you can never get enough of them, right? So #raffle everybody. So if you're watching, #raffle to enter the raffle. And yeah, so Denise, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, so anything happening with you? Any current projects or any future projects? Anything going on? Can you hear me? Okay, so no one wants to enter the raffle? Who's watching us? Yeah, so #raffle everybody. Like, if you want to join the raffle, we only have 2 prizes for tonight. So yeah, #raffle everybody.
I know my wife's watching. #raffle, babe.
Oh, Carla, #raffle. You'll get all the prizes if you're the only one who's hashtagging raffle. Yeah. And to Dorothy, if you're there. So she's the wife of Arvin, hashtag raffle. Yeah, and all of you can hashtag raffle. Will include each and every single one of our guest panelists. So Denise, my question was, do you have any current project or upcoming projects going on?
No, just currently just utilizing my benefits right now. I think I'm the only in this group that's been out for some time. I've been out for 6 years, so trying to learn to chill out because that hustle and that grind has still stuck with me. So I'm learning to adjust and not do much.
That is so cool, and hopefully we'll get to taste whatever you're cooking too, right? Because you're in the restaurant industry. Okay, so yeah, so Arvin, are you ready? Because no one is hashtagging raffle, but all of our guest panelists and Carla and Dorothy are going to be part of the raffle. And Alistair, you might as well include your wife's name. Or Sherwin. What's your wife's name?
Lani.
Yeah, okay, there you go. So Arvin, you can put Lani as well. Okay, are we ready? Okay, so this is raffle prize number 1.
Yay!
Nice.
Michael, congratulations. You won 3 facial masks and 1 wet wipes, and we'll connect with you later to find out how you're going to get them, whether it's by mail or pickup or whatnot. And so raffle number 2 winner is, let's go.
Yay!
Paul Usensi. So I'm assuming it's gonna go to Carla anyway. Yep. Congratulations. Yes. And so congratulations to all of our winners. Mike Ho and Paul Usensi. You both won 3 facial masks and 1 yeah, so it's this one, 1 wet wipes set. So yeah, that's actually coming from me because I'm the owner of the Hi-Fi Hedgehog gift shop. Yeah, and so thank you so much to all of our guest panelists. Thank you, Sherwin, Denise, Mike, Paul, and Alistair. It was great having you in our
thank
show.
You very much.
Yeah, and also thank you to our sponsors, Miss Olivia Kidoko, who was the official skincare of the 69th Miss Universe in Florida that just happened a couple of weeks ago. And of course, Formula M Creatives and the Hi-Fi Hedgehog for our raffle prizes. And just to remind everybody, tomorrow we do have a show. We have R&B, pop and R&B with DJ Bella Ross, and my gosh, we're going global because DJ Bella Ross is from the Philippines and she's going to be playing Afrobeat and Afro House. And Eunice Janine is actually from Ireland, so she does her own brand of pop R&B. And we have local SoCal artist Honor Ray as a headliner. So that's going to be like worldwide tomorrow. Yeah, we've gone international. And on June 11, I just wanted to remind everybody, we have our very first live concert. It's this one. So whoever's watching, come on over to Noi Pits at Little Tokyo in downtown Los Angeles. We have Garth Garcia, Marlon D, Chella, the band, and Jules Ting. Starting at 8 o'clock, that's Friday, June 11, at the Noi Pits in Little Tokyo. And if you have any questions about that concert, yeah, message me on Facebook. And that's about it. That's our show for this evening. Thank you so much to everybody. all of our viewers and guest panelists, and we'll see you soon. Good night.
Thank you.
We'll see y'all later.
Good night, everyone. We'll see you later.
How does one go from this to this, or from this to this? Real people, real transformations. Amazing life-changing results are achieved every day at O Skin Med Spa. Let Miss O show you the way. Your very own before and after experience awaits. Call now for a free consultation. Visit oskinmedspa.com for more details.
What's up, guys? This is Alfred from Los Angeles, and I want to invite you to my special live performance on Nick Diaz Presents May 28th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to be bringing you those pop R&B vibes. You don't want to miss it. Thank you so much. Peace and love.